Welcome back, and this is Hope Adon right here at Hope TV, where you look and you live. What a conversation we are having this morning. It's all about purpose, and this is a big topic for so many of us, in as far as how how to find your purpose. Are you living your purpose? How do you even find your purpose? What is this thing called purpose as well? And so that is what we are discussing this morning. And so you can be part of the conversation. Hope TV Kenya across all our social media platforms. We are also live on YouTube. So why don't you utilize the comments section as well and answer, or rather ask any question that you could be having, anything touching on today's conversation, finding your purpose. And maybe you are there and you are living your purpose. You found your purpose. How was that journey, and how did you find your purpose as well? 0708 222 323. That is the WhatsApp platform, and also the text line that you can use in case you want to be part of this conversation. I'm not alone in studio because I'm also learning. I also want to be enlightened as well, to be challenged as well, in as far as today's conversation is concerned. And so allow me to welcome my guest. He is a purpose coach as well. So that also we will get to know, and how to get involved as well in the same. So Gabriel Nyamu is our guest this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Gigi, and thank you for having me today.
Karibu sana.
Pleasure.
It's a joy to have you this morning.
Always a pleasure.
And what a topic we have this morning to discuss. Looking forward to that topic. But maybe for the very first time, someone is interacting with you. They are wondering, who is this Gabriel? A brief introduction of yourself.
Yeah, thank you again, Gigi. My name is Gabriel Nyamu. I am a husband. I am a father to 3 wonderful children. And I'm born again. I love the Lord. And I'm a purpose coach in the marketplace. And my essence is just to be able to be that apostolic voice that is able to allow people to connect with their God-given redemptive purpose, and to live a life that I call fit living.
Fit living.
Fit living. And fit living is fulfilling, impactful, and transcending.
Fulfilling,
impactful, and transcending life. Yes.
Yeah.
That's my brief.
All right.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for accepting this invitation.
Pressure.
Let's start with the big one. When we talk about find your purpose, we have been told, and we keep being reminded every now and then, you need to find your purpose. You need to find your purpose. What are we talking about? What do we really mean? Right.
Good. Thank you. I think this is a very big question.
Yes.
And I want maybe just to give a little bit of a background first.
All right.
And we have a quest for meaning in life, and the humanity somehow is in a certain drive of seeking, why am I here? Who am I?
Yes.
Why was I born? Why do I even exist such a time in 21st century?
Yes.
Why was I not born in 13th century? There are many questions to that. So it's a very fundamental question in humanity. But first of all, just to define the purpose. Purpose is the very reason for something to exist. So it's the why. It's a why something exists.
Yeah.
But then beyond that, there's also what we call redemptive purpose.
Yes.
Which is an extent in which God works through human agency to fulfill his kingdom mandate.
Yeah.
Because we all know that we are all a product of design. We were created by a creator.
Yeah.
So why did the creator create us? And what did the creator had in mind when he was creating us? So there's that redemptive purpose, which is more attached to what's the God's purpose over your life.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes I try to think we're asking the wrong question by asking how to find my. Because that possessive nature of my purpose is wrong. It's not your purpose.
It's not your purpose.
It's actually God's purpose through you. And I want to account in the book of Acts, where the writer is referring to David. And it says this, and after David accomplished God's purpose in his generation, he saw decay and was buried with his ancestors. We are not told after David accomplished his purpose.
No.
Because the purpose is not, your assignment is not yours.
No.
It's God doing something through your life.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we miss it first. Because when we start out defining purpose as my purpose, one of the things that happens, we end up labeling the human definition of purpose. And sometimes that's what we call meaning, not purpose. Because meaning is more of an extrapolation of something positive that you derive from an event after it has happened. So I have met you today. I can derive meaning for today. I can go and visit a children's home and I give them food. And I think I have done a positive change. Question is, who sent me? If there was not that foundation of the agency through which I am operating, that's not purpose. So I think it's a very big question, which I have found many sometimes have misunderstood what you're talking about when you talk about purpose. And that's why I'm more zeroing on what you call redemptive purpose, because you have to bring in God aspect in that equation. Because before you get into purpose, I want to give just a little background here. We have 4 dimensions of purpose. There's something we call universal purpose. This is purpose for everything. Rocks, viruses, bacteria, mountains, everything. As long as it's created of God, it has some certain purpose. And that's how God has maintained a certain order of the creation. So everything around us, whether even the animals, even the things that we hate, they have a purpose. The other day you were talking, I think another bishop, even about mosquito. And we discovered mosquito has, I think, almost a $30-something trillion economy. Just a mosquito. So if you remove mosquito, some people will be unemployed. Just because of mosquito. So everything created has a purpose. We call that universal purpose. Now, here there's a challenge, especially with believers. Because when you ask people, what's your purpose? Sometimes they say to serve God. Everything should serve God. To glorify God. Even the rocks are a testament. They are a witness of who created them. So we call those universal purpose. It's a purpose for everything that is created. Then there's something we call the purpose of what you may call the age. When God created, he started a reign of age, what we call time. Every generation and age has a purpose. That's why you find, if you look at even the history, how come when you study the history, like for example in the 18th century, there was a springing forth of a scientific revolution. All of a sudden within 100 years of age. Now, because God outpours his wisdom for specific seasons, that's why we always quote the children of Isaac, who understood their time and what Israel ought to do that time. Because there's always the wisdom of the age and the purpose for a certain age. That's why there was an age where Christ had to be born. Even if it was to be whatever it was to take, Jesus had to be born at a certain age. In the what you call the fullness of time, there's always something that God is doing. Question is, you're in 21st century. What is God doing? Because there's an essence for having that age. That's the second dimension. The third one is the purpose for humanity. Now, human beings have a purpose. Now, I remember during COVID, sharing some conversation and saying, are we expecting one day that viruses will dominate the world? No. Dominion was only established only with one agency. That's human. And even when human is foreign, they are wicked and rebellious, there's still some sense of God's grace to sustain that which he created for them to be redeemed back to him. So he'll make sure at least man still has to dominate earth, even when he's rebellious, because God is giving them chance for redemption. So there is a certain essence of humanity. And that's why even non-believers, I mean, when we relate with them, we relate with them with a sense of grace. Because they are human. But then now there's what you call individual purpose. Now, if you check on that cycle, which is kind of a certain pathway, there's universal, there is the age, there is humanity aspect, and then there's individual, you as GG. Now, many people are mostly trapped at the universal. Because that's more of the generalized purpose. I want to glorify God, worship God. Everything you do must glorify God. That does not make you different.
No.
Everything you do, God is after humanity also. Because he has established man with his own image and likeness. So everything God is doing actually, the affairs, even the whole universe and creation and cosmos is fine-tuned for human survival. So again, whatever you do must have a certain angle in which it will impact humanity. Whether you are conserving nature, inventing things, there's something that you're doing in the humanity. So again, that's a bit more generous. Question is, what is your individual now? Now, there's something called God's sovereignty and human responsibility. God is all sovereign. He owns it all as a source. but human has a responsibility. And I want to point back in Genesis 2:5. Genesis 2:5 give an account. We've been given the account of creation.
Yeah.
And then, as a verse, just pop in somewhere and you're told, and there was no shrub in the garden. I mean, there was no vegetation that has sprung up. Yet, we've been given the whole account of creation. So there was no shrub in the garden. But it goes ahead to give us some reasons. Two reasons. One, because God had not sent rain. That's God's part. Because a human cannot bring that rain. As much as we are making artificial rains in Dubai and other places. But that's not the real rain.
Yeah.
So God had not sent rain. But it goes to say, again, there was no man to work in the garden. Now, we are not saying because there was no animals, there was no, it's man, the agency to take care of the created order. And that's why the conversion of purpose starts then. Because it means there is this work that you can imagine God withholding shrubs to spring forth in the garden. So he has created the infrastructure of earth, but there's no shrub. Why? Because God loves things to be taken care of. And that's why we usually say, even when we pray, don't pray for something that you're not willing to steward. If you're not willing to steward your spouse, don't pray for a spouse. If you're not willing to steward and manage a job or whatever God gives you a responsibility, don't pray for it. Because God is looking at what you call the human responsibility. And I have copped through scripture from Genesis to Revelation. And I have seen a paradox. God's sovereignty, human responsibility. And now God's sovereignty is not an excuse for human irresponsibility. So you cannot surrender and say, I'm waiting for God. Because that's sometimes always surrender. Because there's a responsibility to take. Now, purpose is not like a job that you do. Because again, when you start defining this, you find God never created a job.
No.
A job is a means for survival and to earn a living. But God already gave life. Why are you earning it? So God gave you life. Now you may find now people are preoccupied in what you call careerism, which is, I know we'll talk about later, the threat to purpose-led living. One of the greatest one is what you call careerism. Because careerism put you more in the survival mode. Now when you're in survival mode, you can never pursue anything meaningful. You know why? You are on a victim mindset that time. Because when you're in survival, you're saying, I'm in the edge of it's a life and death issue. It's like when you're threatened. So you operate under fear. You don't operate on grace and convictions. So when you're in survival mode, everything you're doing is transactional because you just need to, first of all, you make sure you are alive. What is the difference between you and the antelope in savannah, which is waking up every day not to be eaten, and a cheetah in the same savannah waking up every day not to sleep hungry? Are we saying humanity can be reduced to that? No. That's why we say, when it comes to purpose, it's not again something that you're doing just for survival.
No.
It's an instruction. Now to get to your question, it's an instruction to obey towards fulfilling a divine assignment. So you might be doing something that looks meaningful, but who sent you? Is it an obedience? Because until you get to the aspect of, this is God instructing me to do this. Many people are doing good things actually. But sometimes you do good things, but nowadays there's this hype of what to say, kujituma.
Unajituma.
Many wamejituma. And I'm saying this because I met somebody who is a very successful business person. And it was in Uganda, in Kampala. And we were just in the balcony of our hotel. We were strangers, and therefore we just introduced ourselves. And I came to learn, he's a very serious business person, actually leading a multi-billion-dollar business in 7 countries. He has almost 1,500 employees. I've made successful business. In fact, when he mentioned it, I know the business because I had led it in the dailies and the news. I'm, you are the photo of this? Yeah, I know I can collect the name and the face. Then when in a small conversation there, he started saying that he's selling the business. So that conversation came somewhere because I asked some questions. I like research, I like questioning. By the way, what do you do? How is the business? And he told me, by the way, I'm in the business, though we are looking for private equity and venture capital to sell off the business. Then I asked him, why are you selling the business? He said, by the way, I've come to discover, 10 years ago, I was a bit happier when I started this business. And yes, the business has grown. We're in 7 countries. We have 1,500 employees. But 10 years ago, I had only had 50 employees. But we had made so much money that time. That's the person telling me. I think we had made a lot of money that I felt even if I closed the business 10 years ago, I had established a foundation for financial freedom that even my third generation,
Wow.
I think I've created a safety net. They don't necessarily have to struggle. Then I asked him, so what about now? He told me, right now I feel a bit void. Because what I wake up every day is, firefighting. You know, when you have 1,500 employees.
Yeah.
He told me, I cannot wake up and lie now and shut off the business.
No.
I will appear in the CNN another day because
Everywhere.
Yes,
That's a huge.
a brand has collapsed.
1,500, yeah.
Yes, but when I was having 50, I could close like a kiosk. I can close it and I go home and live well with my family. Then the question I asked him was, then why did you start the business? And he told me, I think I was looking for financial freedom. So after getting it, so what?
Yeah.
So he now is trying to sell off that business as a way of, it's now a headache. But it's successful. We're not saying about a failure here.
No.
Successful, making more money even today.
Yeah.
But he's looking at, I think what I started it for is no wrong. I can't trace the real meaning and the redemptive cause on why I started. Yes, I'm feeding 1,500 employees with their families. That's an ecosystem, maybe 10,000, because every family has an ecosystem. So you find we have been trapped in this performance show of rising in either leadership. Rather, I have met a CEO who told me, I thought when I become a CEO, I'll get some sense of fulfillment.
Yeah.
I still feel lost. So the question is, who told you have to be a CEO? In God's blueprint, did he really see that you have to be a CEO for you to dispense God's purpose? Are you obeying an instruction based on convictions established through the illumination of light, which is the truth of the word of God?
Yeah.
And that's what you're obeying. And you discover many people are trapped in that realm of occupation, careerism, and survival. Earning a life. And that's where we lose it. So there are 4 B's I'm going to talk about, though I will expound maybe later in a different sense. You cannot talk about purpose without talking about, first of all, the belonging, who you belong to. Because that's where you establish the identity. After establishing what you belong, then there is, who are you becoming? That is more important than the things you do, who you're becoming. Christ never said, I have brought the way.
No.
He said, I am there.
I am the way.
It's a power of belonging. It's a power of becoming. You become the redemptive cause you pursue. In fact, we usually tell people in purpose coaching, when God allows you to dispense hope, you become actually like the hope. In fact, look at how Gigi, what people tell you when you do something positive in their life. They tell you, Gigi, you are such an encouragement. It's like you've become the encouragement. That's why you don't necessarily give blessings. You don't bless, you become the blessing. It's a very fundamental principle there. You're almost becoming that. That's why even Nelson Mandela, just to give another example, he did not bring apartheid and any freedom against apartheid in South Africa. He never brought it. He became the redemption for that. That's why, how do you spend 28 years in prison? So his life and the purpose in which he was meant for are actually entangled. You become that which that actually you are advocating for. So if you're seeking liberation for humanity, you actually must become the liberation. That's why Jesus is saying, I'm becoming the Redeemer. I'm becoming the way. He didn't say, I have brought salvation. I am there. That's a becoming. Apparently, we are preoccupied in what we call the doing. We are focused on the things we do. Because purpose has nothing to do with what we do. It is the really meaningful impact, redemptive cause, that change that happens in the people we are called for when we do what we do. There are places where you show up and some people are just lightened up. I was talking to a public speaker who, she does public speaking. And she told me, initially she was introducing herself as a public speaker. Later she discovered, actually, that's what she do. What you do is public speaking. Later she discovered she is an activator of confidence. In fact, apparently, and we did a thought experiment and a kind of a staged experiment, and she's told me, even when she has nothing to say, she go to the stadium like this, in the podium. Somehow, people start shouting, raising their hands, screaming. And they're like, I have said nonsense, but people are shouting. Why? If you notice there's something she's becoming at that moment. It is not what she's doing. Public speaking is what you do. But there's how people are being transformed by your presence. And that's actually where the purpose comes in. It is not necessarily what you're doing. Anybody can do that public speaking. But not anybody can be able to activate people energy and that confidence and what she's doing that time.
Yeah,
Because that
yeah.
time, you become the agency, the dispenser of what God wants to do as such a time.
Yeah.
So that's the second, the what you call the becoming. The third one, of course, is the blessing. Because there's something redemptive that you're doing, which now become a blessing. God is in the business of reconciling man back to the divine order.
Yeah.
Because we all know that in Genesis 3, we fell.
Yeah.
And everything that God is doing right now, of course, in the dispensation of Christ, there's finished work of being a second Adam, who bring now the same portrait that God created that didn't have the sin. And therefore, in Christ, we get the righteousness of God, and therefore we are claimed to be sons. That's very fundamental.
Yeah.
But you also discover, when now you go back into that original, assume you go back to Genesis 2. See yourself what you're doing. Okay? In Genesis 2. That's why we read Genesis 2:5.
Yeah.
There was no man to work in the garden.
In the garden.
Now, people mistake job and work. Now, jobs is to earn a living. Work is actually to dispense God's grace in a redemptive way that transforms people, and it's more of a reconciliation ministry still in how God wants to shape creation.
Yeah.
Now, question is, what blessing are you in the current generation? David, we have read that he served God's purpose in his generation.
Yeah.
So if you want even to find your purpose, one of the things, check what God is doing in this current generation. Because your purpose cannot be for 17th century.
No.
It must be having a relevance
Yeah.
in the generation that you're living in.
Yeah.
Then the last one, maybe before we get into the next question, is now the building. It's after you know who you belong to, who you are becoming, the blessing you are,
Yeah.
that now you can build. Now, if you check those four, you'll come to discover we mostly rush to building things without a foundation.
Yeah.
So people are building careers, occupation, even becoming leaders, and even CEOs in organizations, but in the long foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, listening to you, then so many of us are trapped, should I say, in things that we think are actually our purpose. And because how we have defined purpose and how we have looked at purpose over the years, and especially now, even from my lenses, is that it's what I do. It's in line with what I do. It's in line with my career. It's also in line with even the titles that I hold. But now listening to you, you are debunking all that it is not all those things. Meaning, and we have heard even people being told, what are you passionate about? You know, that which you are passionate about.
Yes.
That's your purpose.
Yes.
So run with that.
Yes.
Run to that.
Yes.
How then do we help? How then can you help us so that we do not confuse career, passion,
Yes.
talent, even
Yes.
with purpose?
Yes. Very good question. I think this requires a huge amount of time.
Because it's important, because so many of us are there.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I've actually done a lot of online articles and some
Okay.
videos around some of those misconceptions. I've debunked the mystery. Purpose is not passion. Purpose is not potential. And can we tell you something?
Yes.
Sometimes you can understand eternity and what happened in the spiritual realms, sometimes by what you see in the physical realm, people reacting to. Only that we get ourselves into the long pathway. And that's why, for example, we demystify between being religious, being spiritual, and being like a believer, a little follower of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be spiritual, and it's
Yeah.
true, because that's a fundamental requirement for you to be a human being. Now, there's a hype on some new age movement sometimes,
Yeah.
which people has been trapped with. And the human age, if you want to know the age of human, what they call the human deity, check what is the singularity of the intent. If the singularity of the intent is about you, run away. Now, all those things you have mentioned, you can almost summarize them, and that's one way of detecting whether you are subjecting yourself into an ungodly lens or not to talk about purpose and other things.
Yeah.
When it's about you, why people talk about what is your passion? A good question for you, not for you, but just to pose back for that question is, do you trust your heart? You talk about purpose.
Yeah.
Sorry, passion.
Passion, yes.
Passion are things, it's the energy actually. It's more of an energy, the drive that you have. And most of it comes from your heart.
Yeah.
The same Bible tells us the human heart is desperately wicked. Actually, by default, we are selfish.
Yeah.
Human beings are selfish.
Very.
So if you pursue things you're passionate about, question is, that passion, what give it direction? Because passion can misdirect you.
Yeah.
Because most of the things, I love adventure. But is it God in that equation of that adventure? What is God doing? Because purpose is nothing to do with you.
No.
It is what God is using you. Therefore, let me just talk about 4 perspectives I've seen in how God operates in man. God can work in you, for you. For you means he's a Santa Claus. You know, God is just at this. He gives everything.
Yeah,
And that's why
yeah.
even in your prayer sometimes, God give me, God heal me. Why? Why must he heal me? Is that something that really you want to preserve for him? So there's that aspect of God doing things for me.
Yeah.
Then there is God working in me. In me is the inner transformation. That's how God prepares us to be a vessel. Then the third one is God working through me. We know God can work through anything, including stones, donkey, you know.
Yes.
So you are not an exclusive. He can work through anything because God is sovereign, remember. So there's God working through you. Sometimes doesn't necessarily require your cooperation there.
No.
He can just use you.
Yeah.
And by you, he even hardened Pharaoh. As much as he was redeeming the church, he hardened Pharaoh. Because God can work through anybody or anything to dispense his majesty and his own sovereignty. But then there is God working with you. Now I want to focus on the last two. Because God working for you and in you, those are more the inner working of God in us to transform us. But God working through you and God working with you, that's where mostly the purpose will come in. Now when you talk about passion, show me anybody in the Bible who did what they did because they were passionate. They loved it. I know there's a temptation to say, they had there's a difference between passion and convictions. If it is passion generated out of convictions, for a gap, like the way you can tell me Nelson Mandela saw people being tortured and the apartheid, and there was a certain conviction. Conviction is truth that eats you, like the yeast eat the dough.
Yeah.
If it's that kind of a thing, that's not a passion. That's not a passion.
No.
It's a conviction. So people mistake those two. But a passion of I love. Simply because love does not mean God is in that equation. It could be more selfish, self-deification. Let's go to the other one about strength. We're talking about potential. Yes. God is a sponsor. He sponsors his assignment in humanity through grace. So the special grace that is bestowed on Gigi that you carry, and that's true. But the other strength, so when you look at generating your strength, sometimes if what you're doing, you already have the strength to do, why do you need God?
Yeah.
Because God requires a partnership. Yes. So look at the people even who are being used by God, like in Moses. They were struggling. God, you have looked in all this and you've seen me. Me to go and face Pharaoh and tell him to release your children. Me, I can't even talk. It's nothing to do with what you call strength there. So I have seen the hype of life coaching. When you see things like life coaching, career coaches, somehow they are dealing with one thing, misalignment. Because humanity is misaligned. But the methods that are being used are already wrong. Why then you find people are coached, they succeed in the wrong direction, they go back again from square one. I've seen people doing their third masters for the PhD. Then I ask them, so what exactly are you chasing? But it's because somebody coached you to succeed to become a CEO, you need to do an MBA in strategy management, hey, you do it. Then you discover again there's no fulfillment, even after achieving it. So when you look at your strength, do you need God then? Because you can work on yourself. You don't need God in that equation. So some of these things, they look good, they look harmless, but somehow they are distorted from the original intent of what you call God-led redemptive purpose. So Akina Gideon, they were seeing themselves as inferior, even when God is calling them. As much as God told him, go and work with the strength that you have. Because God is just using his own grace through you to dispense his mandate. So yes, he needs your cooperation. But it's not your strength that matters.
Yeah.
Remember, even Christ himself, at a point, it was so heavy. The Son of Man now, the human, you know, he was 100% God, 100% man. But the human nature of Christ at one point was saying, this is too heavy, the cup.
Yeah.
That means he actually was saying, I'm getting out of strength. Now telling me you journal your strength and say you'll do things because you have strength, you will not go anywhere.
You won't.
So there's a lot of hype because people want to attach meaning into anything. But when you mirror them in the biblical order of what purpose is, actually it is the wrong direction. So I want to say it's nothing to do with your passion.
No.
But do you need passion? Yes. But it's a passion that comes through vision. In fact, when you do purpose map, there's something called, people do vision board. Usually say, never do a vision board before doing a purpose map. So you need to calibrate the foundation of the purpose, and then now you can do your vision board. Now, when you do visioning, there's a passion generated out of the vision you see. That's why Jesus even had to take these 3 pharaohs to go and do transfiguration, they see heaven.
Yeah.
So they became obsessed that they were telling Christ, hey, wacha tujenge kahekalu tukae huku. Because that visioning keep you somehow on the ladder. So when you capture the vision of God, it actually makes you become bulletproof. Just to share about my story, my foundation was mostly in the scientific world.
Yeah.
As a data scientist, a mathematician, I love calculus, I love mathematics, I love programming, I love sitting at the computer and doing those scripts and coding. And then God is telling me, I am sending you as a voice, an apostolic voice, to go and talk about redemptive purpose. Meaning, I'll be talking to people. Gigi, if you met me 20 years ago, even to lead prayer in front of people was a problem. Then I'm asking God, me to go and talk to people in seminars, conferences, speaking engagements, coaching one-on-one, even to be like this and to listen to you. That was not me.
No.
So if I was to journal what I am passionate about, can I tell you I love numbers, big data, AI. I love those stuff.
Coding and
I am okay with them. I studied them. But that's not purpose. That's an occupation. I can do those data science things, but that is a career issue.
Yeah.
That is not. And those are channels or platforms God can stage for you to dispense. So you can be hired as a customer service officer, but your purpose is not the career of customer service.
No.
Maybe as you interact with the people, you are this guy who radiates hope, encouragement, make people think big, challenge people. That's the redemptive nature. So it's not necessarily the job, which has a job description. And I tell people, you don't have to design what you're doing, it's to find in the praisement. God is not a God of confusion. No. Where he praises you, if you find yourself, whether you are in Egypt, there's something you can do there.
Yeah.
The thing is to find why are you there? Not necessarily what you're doing, but why are you there? And what is God doing? Are you a voice? Are you a light? Are you a source of salt or preserving nature of through which God is using you to impact humanity in the places that you are in?
Yeah.
So we also have another misconception, which is called meaning.
Yes.
So there's a difference between purpose and meaning.
Meaning
is more reactive because you cannot attach meaning before. Mostly when you talk about meaning, it's after an experience. There's a friend of mine who found a spouse because he got into an accident. And the car, I think there was an accident, and then the guy was hospitalized. And among the people who came to visit the guy, a stranger in the hospital, later became his wife. That's not purpose.
No.
That's meaning. And it's a product of what you call positive thinking, where even in an accident, you can look for something to be grateful for. You can be compensated by the insurance. You say, I got rich because of the accident. That's meaning. Nothing to do with purpose. People are trapped in that issue of meaning. Meaning could be a positive change or a positive impact you're making in the society. Question is it God's intent to use you? Are you the agency? So sometimes tumejituma. So you can be going to help orphans. Is it a good thing? Yes.
Fantastic.
That goodness does not necessarily mean godliness.
No.
Because you might actually be already, even this Jonah probably may have gone and do something in the other island he was going to. And you could go and do something. But God had placed him to go to Nineveh, specific place. We call that niche. I have assigned you for a specific niche. If you are called for men and you're doing something for women and it's good, long. That's not purpose.
No.
Because it seems you are the one who have labeled, you have defined your own impact. It looks good in the human lens, but is it that which God intended for you to do? So if you find that, again, there's a very gray area where people are talking about positive change, positive impact, does not necessarily mean that's purpose. Because you have to go to the two things I talked about, the belonging and the becoming, so that you become the agency. Is that what God is doing that time?
Yeah.
That's where the difference is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's
So, maybe to finish there, I know if during COVID, if you check again, if you want to know the default setting of anything, check when you do factory reset, when you reset factory setting of your phone, is when you get the real true picture of something. During COVID, there was a reset. There was a redefinition of jobs disappeared,
Oh, yes.
even relationships, you could not travel, you know, all those things. It's like a whole threat to humanity. In June 2021, one of my background is that data science. So we love things we call web scraping. And in the web scraping, you are trying to study what people are searching online. We found 1.5 billion Google searches in June 2021. People not asking where to go for holiday,
No.
where to import my next car,
Yeah.
where to get a promotion. One question was I was studying, how to find my life purpose. When humanity is reset and you pushed into the corner, there's one thing you start questioning.
Yeah.
Who am I? Why am I here?
Why am I here?
In fact, even your current jobs and titles make no sense that time. Including our family, that I'm a father. Make no sense because my children are not my children. It's God's children through me. I'm an agency. I'm just a steward. So you may find any product of design. This is just a statement I want to make and maybe people can reflect later. Any product of design, something designed like this grass, can only achieve its highest potential of existence, what you call the essence or the being, why we are called human being. We were never called human doing.
No.
So any product of design, anything made or created, as we are created, not even made, can only achieve its highest potential of its existence, meaning the potential of its being, if the original condition that created it are fulfilled. That answers the question of how to find your purpose. Go to the default. What are the original conditions that created you? You find the purpose.
You find the purpose. Yes. And maybe, you know, you have said a lot. And someone is listening to us and watching us and they are wondering, so then, Gabriel, this purpose, do I learn it or is it inherent?
Good question. Yes. Again, I want to give a caution. There are people who are in an address, chase after the weed of what you call chasing purpose. We don't chase purpose. You live your life. In fact, there's a significant question that comes attached to that in my almost 15 years in this space. And the people who ask me, can I live my purpose when I don't even know it? That's another question. Almost coming almost in the same lines. And I will say this. Remember we said the third way God can work through the interface between God and humanity. The third level was God working through you. God can actually work through you, even sometimes when you are probably not cooperating. No. Because we all know that you can never thwart God's plan. He's sovereign. That's why if he had meant to bless somebody, he can even direct you brightly and you go and bless. That's why he was using a donkey. So there's our divine nature sometimes we have. If God wants to use you even when you are not conscious about what you're doing, you may find even people saying, you are, and I know maybe Gigi, this could have come to you where people tell you, you are such a blessing to me. You changed my life. But when you are trying to look at it, you are like, I was not even intentional changing your life. True. Me, I was living my life. So because God can still use you, that's okay. But the thing is, what if you're conscious and intentional about it? That's where now that question comes in. Do I learn it? Whatever. The thing is, if you really go to your maker, God will reveal to you your purpose. In fact, you'll actually later discover there are so many whispers. We don't have time because I could have taken you around almost 10, 12 dimensions on how some, I call them pointers, like a compass, some compass parameters. Because, let me give you an example. The reason why sometimes I tell people when you have purpose, sometimes you don't fear things. And actually, the security somehow. People talk about job security. There's no job security in this world. But nobody can replace you. And I even tell people during this AI space, AI can never replace your purpose. And I'll give you a very simple example.
All right.
Or a thought experiment. I want you to look for 9 people. Maybe you're going through a difficult situation. It could be a grief, you have lost something, you have been auctioned, whatever.
Yeah.
9 people in your life. They could be friends or even strangers. And those 9 people, they come and encourage you. And I would also add you the 10th agent, which is a robot. Let's also program a robot through Gen AI, and we program it and we give it even sentiments and all the things, and it will come and sit in front of you and recite for you some narrative. I'll give all these 10 the same script. 9 human beings, some are relatives, others are friends, and 1 agent who is a robot. All of them, I'll give them the same script to read to come in. It's like an encouragement, or a tribute.
Yes.
They'll come and read to you. Gigi, will you draw the same level of encouragement if it's a grief from all the 10?
No.
Will you feel the same way?
No.
Never. And I want to give that as it's an analogy, it's an example I want to give here. Because when these people came and talked to you, there are 9 of them, they'll come and say, oh, Gigi, oh, sorry for what you have gone through. And that disappear 5 minutes. I'll even tell them to hug you, cry with you. They'll do the same thing.
Yes.
But later when I meet you, Gigi will tell me, person number 7 was such an encouragement to me. Why? That's a simple question. Why? At that point, if they were real agency of God dispensing, because that source, God is the source of everything, but he will use us as an agency to dispense. Now, just that we go to fetch water in that dispense. If for whoever God has prepared to dispense, that the guy you're going to tell me, this guy was such, yet all of them spend the same time, same effort, cried with you, gave you sentiments, all those things. Even the robot was there. But has God ordained robots as an agency? No. And this I want now to talk about now, the redemptive nature of purpose. There is something you do to people, even when sometimes you're not cautious. In fact, I was coaching a group, and one guy who was a former drunkard told me, Gabriel, you know what? I was in rehab several times. One day I met a stranger, a lady, in a supermarket who don't know me. The lady looked at me and told me, so-and-so, stop drinking. Simple words. Stop drinking. And from that day, that guy stopped drinking.
Wow.
Yet, he had been in rehab, counseling, all those things. But just one person who told him, just stop drinking, the guy made a resolution. What happened there? There's an agency issue. In fact, I have actually a person who is close to me who tells me when we go into a new city, he always have a very good rapport with drunkards. Walevi. Gigi kama hauna grace ya warevi. And you go and watakutukana, they will abuse you. This guy tells me, if I go to Kisumu, if I go to Mombasa, if I just run in the stage, I will even find warevi. They'll come to talk to me. And when I talk to them, they keep quiet. Why? At that point, you are an agency. So I wanted to give a hint because there are so many things to talk about there. One indicator this in your natural state of how, if at all, of course, you're obedient to God and you interact with God, God is using you already. But sometimes you don't journal and take an account on how we are impacting other people as we do what we do. So stop focusing on what you do. Focus on what is happening in the people that God has praised you, what is happening in their life as you do what you do. It's why you start seeing the fingerprints of God in terms of the redemption that God is doing through your life. That's one simple indicator. But again, who gives the purpose? God. You can get a burning bush experience. That's okay. Sometimes God may take you through. Some of you, and this I've seen from data and consistency, some people who have found living purpose-led life, sometimes their life itself is a testament of what they advocate for. So you find sometimes you even go through pain. But we usually say pain is inevitable, but suffering is a product of choice. Suffering from the pain is your product, is your choice. But sometimes pain can be redemptive. Because remember you talked about God working in you. So question is, if God is making me, is preparing a vessel, that vessel is for what? That's our way of looking at it. So when you go through even your life, ask yourself, all this wrong, who am I becoming as a vessel? You say we are a vessel. Who am I becoming as a vessel? The moment you see the vessel become this cup, it's very easy to attach. It's for holding water and drinking. First of all, you define what vessel is this. then the vessel has directly its usage and functionality. That's one way actually to pick. Chances are, because we are so much preoccupied with the things we do, we forget to take one step back. What is happening in the spaces in which God has called us? In my discovery over 15 years ago, I could find whenever I speak to people, I make them see things different, what you call mindset transformation, and more very specific in the direction of that redemptive purpose.
Yeah.
And I don't struggle. So when I will speak about it, there is a way, even later, whether they tell me feedback or not, I will see some signs. People tell me, Gabriel, by the way, if I listen to somebody who called me and told me, you know, Gabriel, working in a very big bank, among the Tier 1 banks, he told me I was a senior regional head. Do you know what? I have left that employment. And Gabriel, don't know. Actually, listen to you, I don't know how many years. Me, I'm not even aware.
No.
I sent to you, I don't know how many years ago.
Yeah.
And that thing has been boiling. Because at that point, you are an agency to dispense the truth, or what you call the light.
Yeah.
That light kindles something in people, and they shape or maybe become different. So if you're able to get that feedback back, you start seeing yourself now. It's not necessarily what you did,
No.
but it's what is happening in the people that
lives.
God has sent you.
Yeah.
But I must also submit to this. You are not called for everybody. Even Christ gave a caveat. For God so loved the world that he gave his own begotten son. But it's for who? Whosoever believe. Now, if you don't believe, we call that the niche. Everybody has an attachment. You have 8 billion people in the world, population. You are not a Messiah. You are not called to save everybody. So I see people, my work is to transform women. That's a very generic. Define a subset. I am not called for everybody.
No.
That's why there are 8 billion other people. So you need to find the niche. And there's something, especially a certain niche that gravitates around you. In fact, many times, those people, we chase them away. There could be drunkards that come to you.
Yeah.
And actually you chase them away. Yet, in fact, they were called to you for redemption.
Yeah.
I have a guy who is running a microfinance. A very interesting conversation. He told me, Gabriel, before I came to discover I am meant in giving the financial freedom, do you know I journaled my phone calls? And out of every 10 phone calls, 8 had something to do with the money. Because there is a way, if God has allowed you to redeem people, the people that God has prepared as you, as your niche, will always gravitate around you.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes you don't fight them.
No.
They will find you. Because grace, in fact, I show people are not attracted to you as Gigi. I know we have motivational speakers, readers, influencers. It's people are not attracted to you.
Yeah.
They are attracted to the grace you carry. In fact, if one day that clothing of the grace that you are dispensing go away, the veil go away, you never receive phone calls again.
No.
So somehow, even one way, I'm just giving some hints there. If you look at the environments that God creates and orchestrates around you, chances are your purpose is meant in some of those people. Even some of the people who gravitate, sometimes we chase them away. You may find, like for me, I always attract, or I will always get encounters for people who are in transitions. People making very tough decisions.
Yeah.
Whatever, whether it's relationships, or they're making tough decisions in their career, or they're even closing businesses. They are setting up new ones. They are resigning. You know, I don't struggle. In fact, it's like I'm always, that's like, if I check even sometimes the people I have met the last 10 days, even right now. The new connection I've made in the last 10 days, I can almost tell you, 9 out of the 10, the people in transition. So I never look for them.
No.
So it's only that we are not so conscious. And we are not seeking. We are not seekers. So, but in your default setting, if you are right with God, because I want to give that caveat, you must first of all make sure your belonging and your becoming is very solid. You are right with God because you belong. You are a son. Then God then can allow you to participate in the advancement of a kingdom. And that's how you draw your divine assignment. It must also be relevant to the age that we are living in at the time, as I mentioned earlier. And it also must, at the end of the day, there is no purpose if there is no human impact. Meaning, don't tell me your purpose is to set up systems in companies. I have seen people saying my purpose is to transform organizations. Not at all. That's not a purpose. That could be a means to the purpose. purpose, which is redemptive, at the end of the day, must be human. There is an impact because God's intent still, even right now, is humanity. So God may call you like Professor Wangari Maathai to preserve nature for what? At the heart of it is human survival still.
Yeah.
There's something God is expressing to humanity or revealing himself to humanity. So make sure when you're defining your purpose, don't tell me your purpose is to set up systems for organizations, policies and procedures, strategies. That's a means. At the end of the day, ask yourself why and so what, like 3 times. Why, so what? Why, so what? At the end, you'll find a human being.
Yeah.
So singularity of purpose still, first, we'll always actually have as we, it impact human being.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the system we establish. Still, those systems should serve who? Humanity. Climate preservation and what you're doing, climate action and all that. At the end of the day is what? We want the next generation to have livelihood. So we don't destroy our nature, and then the next generation don't come and find nowhere to stay.
Yeah.
So those are some of the pointers you can use to actually be able to find yourself. But in the purpose coaching now, there's some methods we use. Generally, there are almost 12 things that we actually, it's like reflective areas that actually we question. And prayer-free, you'll always find some, because at the end of the day, it's the Holy Spirit that has to reveal. But there are some shapes, patterns you will see, which are more of bias, because Gigi, you are divinely unique. But have you found your uniqueness? So you find your purpose has a sense of that. I want to finish with another trapping, which is now we call the gifts. Sometimes people think gifting is purpose. Not at all. God give you a gift of creativity or singing, but you can abuse a gift. So a gift by itself, we usually say gifts are not directional. Purpose is directional. It has polarity. It has a north and south. Purpose has a direction. But a gift, you can choose to, I can use my gift to manipulate people. So it must be, gifting are endowment that God put as deposit of sponsorship to sponsor the assignment. But because of the human will, you can abuse. So never use gift as a basis to discover your purpose. No. Because what gives the alignment of direction is purpose. So I think that maybe could be a foundation that we can lay out today. But as we continue, of course, you can be able to kind of unfold this.
And I feel now listening to you, this is not a conversation we can have a one-off. It needs, a follow-up and all. Briefly, I'm told we have some few minutes remaining. Let's talk to parents especially, and they're bringing up children and all. How can we help, first of all, break this cycle of how we have perceived and looked at purpose, so that now our children now can easily grow into their purpose?
All right, good. I think the best place where even purpose can be nurtured is in the family. So I want to especially to speak to parents. Don't try to superimpose your desires, your insecurities, your failures on your children. In fact, the first thing is to discover that these are not your children. In fact, nowadays I'm very skeptical to say my children. I'm very skeptical because they are not my children. I'm a steward. Of course, I was a channel through which they had to come forth and have their being and existence. But they draw their being and essence from God himself. Question is, first, is to pray with them and pray for them, even when they are in their mother's womb. Pray for them, lay hands on them and pray for them that God will give them the consciousness of their purpose. And I have seen this especially even in my young ones, because I have young children. And I'm so amazed that currently in my house, like I have a 5-year-old, every prayer she makes today, she talks about, and God help me to know my purpose. And I'm like, wow, this is good. My 11-year-old has a sense of actually already has defined some purpose somehow. Even my 7-year-old actually, very clearly, actually have attachment. I have seen actually you can teach these children, and don't give them purpose. I can't give them the purpose. No, it's God. But I have started conversation in their young stage to question, why were you born? Why did God allow me to be your father? And why did you come? And I start conversation at very young. And they have started questioning even themselves. And I've seen them. They don't have to get it right. But that just consciousness of probing, by the way, when am I here? So they'll tell me, oh, I want to become a doctor. That I ask them, why? Is that God? Is that what God wants in your life? And I tell them, are you becoming a doctor for yourself just to earn good money? And later now they stopped even now talking about the titles of what they want to become. And they started now even saying, I want to be that liaison of something in the generation. And I'm like, wow, that is it. Because remember when I introduced myself, I said I'm an apostolic voice. I didn't talk about I'm a data scientist, strategy consultant, I'm a HR consultant actually. I'm all those things in terms of titles.
Yeah.
But those are just channels. The voice, even if you take me and drop me in Singapore, I'll continue.
Yeah.
If you drop me in Madagascar, I'll continue. I don't require a title.
No.
I'll still be the voice, the apostolic voice
Yeah.
of redemptive purpose in my age. Now that one, you cannot kill it.
No.
In fact, you can't fire me from it. You can never fire me.
No.
You can fire me from at a job title somewhere as a manager, director. You cannot fire me for being a voice. Because that one is the essence for me. So parents, try to make sure, at least first of all, children know they don't belong to you.
Yeah.
The first B was belonging. They belong to God. But God is a king. Introduce the king aspect, and the king has a kingdom. That mindset issue. When they know that they belong to a king, king has a kingdom.
Yeah.
Kingdom has an assignment and a mandate. Then they'll start questioning how they participate in that kingdom.
Yeah.
And that way, they are going to raise a consciousness. And even in their prayer and their seeking, they are not going to follow career where, the staircase career where you go to school, get a job, build a house, marry, bring children. Then at 60 years, you feel void.
Yeah.
It's your wasted. Don't force them to do that. Let them defer. I always yearn one day that I will establish some things, and I do that a lot, where people discover their purpose first before choosing the kind of career they want to take.
Yeah.
Because that's why we are finding people doing their third career, fourth career, looking for fulfillment. And because of that, every month of October, actually, we usually celebrate the International Month of Redemptive Purpose.
Yeah.
Maybe something that I can swear we sensitize people for free. And I hope maybe we can have sessions even here in Hope Media where we just talk about for free the whole month of October, talking about purpose. So we call it Purpose Fest. So every month of October, we do speaking engagements about reminding people why they were born.
Yeah.
What will creation miss if you are never born? A very big question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. And we can continue and continue and continue. I love that you have been able to debunk and also open our perspective in as far as matters purpose is concerned. And we will continue definitely with this conversation. Maybe before we leave, how can people get in touch with you, connect with you? Yeah.
So thank you so much, listeners and viewers. You can get me. I'm very active in social media. You can search for Gabriel Nyamu, your purpose coach, whether it's in LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm also currently on TikTok, though not very much active. Facebook, Instagram, I'm all there. And even YouTube channel, you search for Gabriel Nyamu, your purpose coach. And I think in my Facebook page, if you search, you'll also find even an office line that you can contact me and I'm able to reach out to you to be able to guide you. But I want to welcome you in the month of October. We always invite us in your organizations for free. This year, we have a theme we call meaningful work.
Yeah.
Yes, we have what we call Annual Purpose Fest, and for 2025 we are talking about meaningful work. Is the work you're doing meaningful? And the whole month from 1st of October to 31st, we'll be in organizations speaking to employees and leaders, churches, chairmas, groups for free.
Yeah.
Especially within Nairobi or virtually for free.
Yeah.
Just sensitizing people about meaningful work, because that's the only way we can live fit living.
Yeah.
Fulfilling, impactful, and transcending life.
All right. Thank you. Really appreciate for your time and your wisdom this morning on this very important topic of finding your purpose. Thank you so very much. And thank you as well even for finding time to join us this morning. We are blessed. I know you are challenged, you are enlightened, and yes, I know now you have a different perspective when it comes to the same. And so we wish you a blessed and a fruitful day ahead. Tomorrow, it's all about the Beyond the Melody segment, and tomorrow Maria Makao Mondi will be joining you in the morning. We meet later tomorrow in the evening. That is Men on Record, and tomorrow being a special one because we will be live from Sitam Karen, and this is because we will be having the men's altar happening there for this particular episode, and so we will be hearing about the boy king, and our facilitator Reverend Jesse Moy will be sharing on the same, the boy king, and that is a very important topic for you as a man, and also even for the young boys that we are raising as well. So make sure you are joining us tomorrow, as always, on Men on Record on all our platforms, right here at Hope Media, Hope FM, Hope TV, and across our social media platforms, Hope FM Live, and also Hope Hope TV Kenya. From me, George Gishuru, and the team that has made today's production a success, we wish you a blessed and a fruitful day ahead. Kwaheri for now.